Whoa! Whoa!
Uh-oh, not too much spoiler in the start, please. As you might have already picked there, yes, we are going to be drawing Arlecchino today. And yeah, it's a special Arlecchino with her outfit changed into streetwear outfit designed by Boba. I personally don't know why she doesn't appear in the animation, but I know that this design is supposed to be her dancing off in the fan animation as well. And it's really gorgeous. So with that being said, it's our part to draw her as an honor to her cool streetwear outfit. Also, I actually drawn her together with Mafika from the fan animation video, but this time I will only be showing you how I did Arlecchino, and I will share my thinking process on rendering her belly and leather jacket, which I did Mafika on another video already, so check it out if you haven't. As always, I will show you the process from the start, or actually you can skip directly to the belly and leather jacket rendering part using the timestamp below. So first of all, let's set this 3D model from Clip Studio Paint first. If you're wondering, I did use a model template that I already edited myself, and it was based on the Clip Studio Paint standard 3D model file. Do you know you can adjust it yourself? Okay, let me show you a little bit on how my model setting looks like. Now you can just save that model template that you just made and use it anytime. Shall we continue now? Okay, after setting the 3D model, I did the skeletal proportions instead of going fully tracing the model, since I wanted to practice my anatomy and proportion knowledge anytime I had a chance. The model was basically just my cheat sheet if I feel like I'm stuck or my attempt got really bad. Of course, after the skeletal proportion is done, I draw in the Arlecchino. Then paint in the base rough lining to guide us throughout the rendering process. After the rough lining, now we can add base color and go directly to the rendering phase. Starting with the eyes. Man, I really love how unique her eyes are. Those design feels like it's holding a deep secret of her curves, and I really want to know about. I can't wait to see her full background story. Okay, back to drawing. Continuing with the bangs, I have always loved silver-haired character and continue with shading the face. I always feel that adding blushes is mandatory since it makes the face feels more full. I used to feel the faces that I drew were either too empty or too overshaded. Then I realized I just need to put on a good blush and a bit of shading on the edges of the face. Continue with the chest, but I won't be showing in detail since I will be changing this later in the end after realizing some mistakes. So it's finally time to render Arlecchino's stomach skin. So here we go. I did 2 attempts on rendering the skin, which this is the first one, and it was the wrong one, I could say. But you can see how my thinking process goes on this part. Think of it having 3 parts of coloring: shadow, a middle color, and a highlight. And you must fulfill these 3 at least once. So first, rough shadow. Paint on the part that we know is going to be essentially darker due to the shape. 2. Blur it. Using the blur tool to roughly blend it in. And here's the tips. Remember, on the middle part, you only want to blur on this side, so make sure your pressure is enough just for that area. 3. Add middle color. I add in some more yellowish color to balance between the light base color and the darker color as the shadow. 4. Add highlight. Simply after that, we want to put in some highlights. Since my light source is coming from the left, I want to add this highlight on the edge and on the opposite of her previous belly button shadow. 5th, add solid shadow from the shirt. Then finally here, I want to add some solid shadow that is casted from her chest and outerwear. And 6th, refine as much as you like. So here's how I refine them. Because at this point, I feel like I'm missing some depth and variety of color that makes it, you can say, lack realisticness. So here I try to add darker color on creases such as the crotch area on both sides. Just remember to add both shadow and highlights to manipulate the shading to either look darker and brighter. I was struggling here on getting it right since it's been a long time since I last painted belly skin and I was actually having a hard time. So keep in mind, this does take multiple practice and experiences to get used to, which I did feel this was a bad shading, so I retried again. I came back thinking that I need a firm image in my mind on what kind of stomach that I want to draw. And I decided I want to draw a round belly with simpler muscles because I feel it looks better on this drawing. So let's start this step by step again, but this time let's enhance it a bit. First, rough shadow, adding it onto the darker part following the shape that's going to be on the belly. 2. Darker shadow, I try to add the darker one on the deeper creases. 3. Blur tool, same as before, we use the blur tool to blend it in. 4th, manipulating highlights by adding darker color. I try to emphasize the highlights by adding those dark parts, and I keep repeating it over and over until I get the right color. Continues to the 5th, which is add the middle color. And anytime you have the feel that you need to blend them in to create that warm skin tone stomach, you can add those middle color anytime. And there we go for the Arlecchino's belly. Which one do you think is better? The previous one or the current one? Now that we're finished with the stomach, let's get onto the leather jacket. Disclaimer, I'm not that experienced yet at painting leather, so I'm just going to share my thinking process and keeping in mind one important element to create a leather jacket, which, let's see if you notice it before I explain it. Do you notice what I did? Some of you might have noticed it and might already know from the start, and yes, it is how I kept solid shapes for both the shadow and the highlights, since that is the strong characteristics of leather materials that I find unique. And of course, another important thing to make it look more leather is to be brave on putting it out really dark colors, close to black, not entirely black unless the situation forces you to. And it is used to create that contrast to make the highlight feels more shiny. And there we go, we've pretty much covered the important things from this Arlecchino drawing, and now we just need to finish up the rest of the detailing. Here's the final result for the Arlecchino drawing. I personally really love this outfit design. Boba really did a great job designing this for Genshin Dance-Off fan animation. Also, you can watch my other video for the other half of my drawing process, which is Mavwika fan art, where I shared some small tips regarding her hair and her part of stomach rendering. So, let me know what you think of the overall result in the comment, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!